we are going to discuss about the biological classification, which is the second chapter of diversity in the living world, which is the first unit of intermediate first year botany. As you all know and you are familiar with the name Aristotle. Who is Aristotle? Aristotle is the father of biology. Who is Aristotle? Aristotle is the father of biology. He was the first and the earliest to classify the biological world, and he made basis of some simple morphological characters, and he divided the plants into three groups: trees, shrubs and herbs. And also he divided the animals into two groups: those which have red blood and those which do not have red blood. These are the classifications made by Aristotle. Next, Linnaeus gave two kingdom classification. This is very important big question. Two kingdom classification was given by Linnaeus. Two kingdom classification was given by Linnaeus. He also made basis of some morphological characters to divide into two kingdoms. Those are Plantae and Animalia. These are the two kingdoms given by Linnaeus. He included the plants and animals in the groups Plantae and Animalia respectively. So next, R.H. Whittaker. R.H. Whittaker, he proposed a five kingdom classification. Very important for your MSET point of view. Who gave five kingdom classification? That is R.H. Whittaker. Five kingdom classification was given by R.H. Whittaker. He divided the living world into five kingdoms. That is Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae, and the last one is Animalia. Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae and Animalia. These are the five kingdoms proposed by R.H. Whittaker. So for the classification, he used the criteria, and the main criteria for his classification was morphology, cell structure, thallus organization and nutrition, mode of nutrition and also reproduction. On basis of these characters, he divided the whole living world into five kingdoms. Let us study these five kingdoms in detail in this chapter. So first one is kingdom Monera. In kingdom Monera, all the prokaryotic organisms are placed under the kingdom Monera. So in my another video in which I have already explained about the prokaryotic organisms and bacteria, about bacteria, eubacteria, etc. You can refer that video for kingdom Monera. Next, coming to kingdom Protista. All the single-celled eukaryotes are placed under the kingdom Protista. All the single-celled eukaryotes are placed under the kingdom Protista, but the boundaries of the kingdom Protista are not well defined. But in this book, we have five groups under Protista to study in detail. Those are euglenoids, dinoflagellates, slime molds, protozoa and chrysophytes. These are the five groups we are going to study under the kingdom Protista. First, let's see the characteristics of chrysophytes. Chrysophytes include diatoms and golden algae. The chrysophytes are found in freshwater as well as marine environments. The chrysophytes are microscopic and they float passively in water currents. For example, plankton. Most of the chrysophytes are photosynthetic, means they can prepare their own food. The chrysophytes are the diatoms. The cell wall is made up of two thin overlapping shells. So like this, walls are embedded with silica, and thus these are very strong and they are indestructible. The large number of accumulation of the silica in the diatoms, accumulation over billions and billions of years, that is called as diatomaceous earth. It is diatomaceous earth. So these being gritty, the soil is used in polishing and filtration of oils and syrups. And these diatoms are the chief producers in the oceans. This is about the characteristics and importance of chrysophytes group. Next, let's see the characteristics of dinoflagellates. Dinoflagellates are mostly marine and they are photosynthetic, means they can prepare their own food. The dinoflagellates are yellow in color or green or brown or blue or red depending on the pigments in their cells. The dinoflagellates, the cell wall is made up of stiff cellulose plates. You can see in the picture here, these are the stiff cellulose plates on the outer surface of the cell. Stiff cellulose plates. Here it has two flagella. It has two flagella. One lies longitudinally and one lies transversely. You can see in the picture here, one lies longitudinally and one lies transversely in a furrow like this. This is a furrow in between the two cellulose plates. Next, the dinoflagellates undergo binary fission for multiplication. Sometimes or very often the red dinoflagellates multiply very rapidly, and more times that they make appear the sea in red color. This is termed as red tides. They make the sea appear in red color, that is called as red tides. This is very important, 2 marks question, you can note it down. And the toxins released by such a number may even kill other marine animals such as fishes also. And the example for dinoflagellates is gynalops. This is also very important in your MCET point of view. Now let's see the characteristic features of euglenoids. Euglenoids are mostly freshwater organisms. They are found in stagnant water. Instead of cell wall, the euglenoids have a protein-rich layer called as pellicle, which makes their body flexible. So it has two flagella, one is shorter one and one is longer one. You can see in the picture here, one is shorter flagella, another one is longer flagella. Two flagella are present. The euglenoids are photosynthetic, means they can prepare their own food in presence of sunlight only. But in the absence of sunlight, they behave as heterophytes by predating on the other smaller animals. They have pigments which are identical to those of higher plants. The example of euglenoids is euglena. In euglena, the reproduction takes place through longitudinal binary fission, like this, longitudinal binary fission. This is about euglenoids. Next, about slime molds. The slime molds are saprophytic. They move along the twigs and leaves, engulfing the organic matter, means they feed on the organic matter. Under suitable conditions, they form aggregation called as plasmodium. Under unfavorable conditions, the plasmodium differentiates and forms fruiting bodies bearing spores at their tips. Extremely resistant, they are extremely resistant and they can survive for many years even under adverse conditions also. The slime molds bear spores and the spores are dispersed by air currents. This is about the slime mold. And the last group of the kingdom Protista is protozoans. All the protozoans are heterotrophs. They live as predators or parasites and they depend on other animals for their food. They have no cell wall and the protoplasm is surrounded by plasma membrane. The major four groups are identified in the protozoans: amoeboid protozoans, flagellated protozoans, ciliated protozoans and sporozoans. These are the four major groups of protozoans. Amoeboid protozoans, they can live in fresh water as well as seawater and in the moist soil also. For example, amoeba. The amoeba has pseudopodia. With the help of pseudopodia, it can move from one place to another and they can accumulate the food. Next one is flagellated protozoans. These are free living and are parasites. Example is trypanosoma. This causes sleeping sickness. These have flagella. With the help of flagella, it moves and accumulates the food. Next one is ciliated protozoans. Ciliated protozoans are aquatic and the example is paramecium. These have cilia. With the help of cilia, it can gather the food. Next and last is sporozoans. The example for sporozoans is Plasmodium, which is a malarial parasite. It causes malaria in human beings. This is about the kingdom Protista. Next is the kingdom fungi. Fungi constitute a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. They show a great diversity in morphology as well as habitat. First, let's see the role of fungi in our daily life. Fungi has many uses as well as it is harmful in many ways. So, let's see its role in our daily life. First is it is used in food. The commonly edible fungi are mushrooms and toadstools. Example for mushrooms is agaricus. This is taken as food for their high protein value and low in fats, and it has many minerals. Next, antibiotics. The fungi are used in producing antibiotics like penicillin. Penicillin is prepared from Penicillium. It is the first antibiotic prepared. Next, it is used in brewing, in manufacturing alcoholic beverages like beer and whiskey. In that, yeast plays a major role. Yeast is a fungi. Next, enzymes and amino acids in pharmaceutical industries and food industries. Uh, uh, Fungi plays a main role and the fungal products are used in the preparation of digestive enzymes. Next, biodegradation also fungi plays a main role. The dead plants and animals are degraded by using many soil fungi and it also helps in mineralization of organic matter. These are also pathogenic to animals, plants as well as on human beings. For example, Puccinia, this causes rust disease on wheat. This is about the role of fungi in our daily life. The role of fungi and the kingdom Protista, which I have explained till now, are very important for your 4 marks questions in your IPE examinations. So, next coming to Animalia, it is discussed in your zoology book. And coming to Plantae kingdom, the Plantae kingdom, I will explain it and we will discuss it in my next video.